Climate Action: Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals Through Consumer Protection. My name is Mel Samantha T. Panogaling, BTL Ed2 reporting. Climate change is a real and undeniable threat to our entire civilization. The effects are already visible and will be catastrophic unless we act now. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, such as variation in the solar cycle. But since the 18,000s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Burning fossil fuels generates greenhouse gas emissions that act like a blanket warp around the Earth, trapping the sun's heat and raising temperatures. Examples of greenhouse gas emissions that are causing climate change include carbon dioxide, water vapor, and methane. For these come from human activity, using gasoline for driving a car or coal for heating a building. Clearing land and forests can also release carbon dioxide. Landfills for garbage are a major source of methane emissions. Energy, industry, transport, buildings, agriculture, and land use are among the main emitters. Greenhouse gas concentrations are at their highest levels in 2 million years. Many people think climate change mainly means warmer temperatures, but temperatures rise is only the beginning of the story. Because the Earth is a system where everything is connected, changes in one area can influence changes in all others. The consequences of climate change now, such as hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, heat waves, and droughts. The question is, are people experiencing climate change in diverse ways? Yes, because climate change can affect our health, ability to grow food, housing, safety, and work. Some of us are already more vulnerable to climate impacts, such as people living in small island nations and other developing countries. That's what we know. In a series of UN reports, thousands of scientists and government reviewers agreed that limiting global temperature rise to more than 1.5 Celsius would help us avoid the worst climate impacts and maintain a livable climate. The emissions that cause climate change come from every part of the world, and other affect everyone, but some countries produce much more than others. Everyone must take climate action, but people and countries creating more of the problem have a greater responsibilities to act first. Many climate change solution projects can deliver economic benefits while improving our lives and protecting the environment. We also have global frameworks and agreements to guide progress, such as Sustainable Development Goals, UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the Paris Agreement. Three broad categories of actions are cutting emissions, adapting to climate impacts, and financing required adjustments. Switching energy systems from fossil fuels to renewable like solar or wind will reduce the emissions driving climate change. Through education, innovation, and adherence to our climate commitments, we can make necessary changes to protect the planet. These changes also provide huge opportunities to modernize our infrastructures, which will create new jobs and promote greater prosperity across the globe. Everyone can help to make sure that we meet the global goals. Use these 5 targets to create actions to combat climate change. Target 1. Strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related disasters. Strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters in all countries. Target 2. Integrate climate change measures into policies and planning. Integrate climate change measures into national policies, Strategies and planning. Target 3. Build knowledge and capacity to meet climate change. Improve education, awareness, raising and human institutional capacity on climate change mitigation, adaptation, impact reduction, and early warning. Target 4. Implement the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. Implement the commitment undertaken by developed country parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to a goal of mobilizing jointly $100 billion annually by 2020 from all sources to address the needs of developing countries in the context of meaningful mitigation actions and transparency on implementation, and fully operationalize the Green Climate Fund through its capitalization as soon as possible. Last is the Target 5. Promote mechanisms to raise capacity for planning and management. Promote mechanisms for raising capacity for effective climate change-related planning and management in least developed countries and small island developing states, including focusing on women, youth, and local and marginalized communities. Remember, climate change is very real. It is drastically affecting planet Earth, our home. And although we are the problems, we can also be the solution.